cycles, 66 DC for momentum. We have our supersets on the 130. Our first pair of exercises for our first superset is going to be a bear march and a bridge iso chest press. Okay, so for that bear march, again, feeding it into trying to work on strengthening that TGU, you're going to come into that tabletop position. You're going to elevate the knees and then opposite hand and foot come off the ground, trying to make sure that back stays nice and flat. The other thing we want to make sure that we're watching for, we don't want those hips to creep up higher, right? We want to keep that 90-degree bend at the knees, 90-degree bend at the hips. If they don't feel comfortable with the march, they can just hold the bear for 8 breaths, or you can switch them to a bird dog variation, which will allow them to keep their knees on the ground. But again, making sure that back stays nice and flat. Okay, they'll go 5 and 5 each side. The bridge iso chest press. If you're at a place where you can go double kettlebells, they can absolutely do this with double kettlebells. That's totally fine. Or you can have them grab a pair of dumbbells. You're gonna bring the dumbbells. This is the safest way to go back with dumbbells, is to put them on your knees, kind of roll backwards. Elbows are on the ground, set the feet. We're then going to find that nice strong bridge. Maintaining that bridge hold, they're then going to find that chest press. Elbows are coming down sort of at that 45-degree angle so that it's helping strengthen the same similar movement pattern as a push-up. Okay, so those are your first 2 exercises for superset 1. Second set of superset exercises is going to be a deadlift for 8, so we're likely in that moderate range in terms of heaviness. If you do want to push them to go heavier as the weeks go on, you can do that. Just make sure they're maintaining good form. And then our second exercise is going to be a high-low windmill. So for that deadlift, making sure that they are standing directly over their bell. Handle should be pretty much even with their laces. They're going to drive into that hinge. If at this point they still can't reach the bell all the way, that's when you can let them bend into their knees a little bit, but make sure they're not dropping their hips, right? Because this is a squat from the ground, it's not a deadlift. Breaking that handle in half, so you should see those elbow pits facing forward. Eyes stay straight ahead. Big inhale, exhale, stand tall, making sure those shoulders are staying packed back. Pushing the hips back as we come back to the ground, okay? Notice my bell started and stopped in the exact same spot because I kept my lats on the entire time. So if somebody is starting here, and as they come down, that bell creeps forward, they're losing their lats. It's a very quick way to make sure that people are staying engaged throughout that lowering of their deadlift, okay? For the high-low windmill, if they don't feel comfortable with 2 bells, they can just do your standard windmill, or they can do the high-low. For the high-low, you're gonna need 2 kettlebells. They could be the same weight, or you can have one heavier. The one that's on the ground is going to be the heavier one, okay? So when finding your windmill, it's basically a hinge that we put on a slight stagger, and then we add in that rotation from the trunk, okay? So if people are having a hard time, have them hinge, right? We're hinging. We're stepping a foot slightly forward. We're still hinging. We're turning the toes away from the overhead side. Hinging. Now we're gonna hinge and look up with this arm straight. Hinge and look up. That's your windmill, okay? A high-low windmill means I have my belt overhead, and as I'm coming down, I'm gonna grab this one on the bottom, and now I have 2 weights, and that's where I'm gonna do my high-low windmill. The range of motion is as deep as necessary or as prudent for that individual, which means my windmill can be here, can be here, can be here, okay? We don't want to see them rounding through the side of the trunk. We also don't want to see them swiveling or rotating those hips around, okay? So for that high-low, I have a 16 and an 18. So the 18 is going to be on the ground. You can clean and press the bell overhead, or you can snatch the bell into that overhead position. But on this day, they do have a snatch up later on in the day. So clean, press. This we're going to call the target side. So opposite foot takes a slight stagger forward. which we're gonna kind of set along the bell on the floor, and then we have that slight rotation away, okay? I'm going to keep this back knee straight. I'm finding my windmill to pick up the bell, and then we're keeping that back knee straight to find that high-low. Back it down, set it down, take it under, okay? People should be feeling more of the load in this glute, okay? In a perfect world, it's gonna be a little different when you have that weight, right? But in a perfect world, you should be able to lift that front leg slightly. So if they're too far away, they won't be able to do that without falling, okay? So again, you can have them just do your standard windmill, or you can add this extra little spice. For our third superset grouping, we're gonna have 5 1.5 goblet squats, and then we're doing single leg plate hops. So these are thin little hops. We're not doing like a single leg box jump, okay? This is a way to give them sort of a progression off of some of the pogo work that we've been doing. So for the squat, you're gonna have them come over top of that bell for a nice strong 2-hand clean. Big inhale at the top, hold that breath through the bottom, halfway rise, back down, stand all the way tall, okay? For people who are doing a heavier bell for their goblet, you can have them do a 2-hand swing clean for the heavier bells, because again, the heavier that bell is, harder that dead clean is gonna be, because you don't have a way to generate momentum to get the bell up. So you can come here, almost like you're starting a swing, hike it back, and then drive it into that goblet. And then the squat is the same. Big inhale, down to the bottom, halfway rise, back down, all the way up, okay? 5 of those. And then we have our little plates here. So the goal is to kind of pop, oops, I can't look at this and look at this. So pop on and off. Okay, so you can use that's a 10. This is a 2.5, which is a little bit lower. Same thing, they're kind of here, popping on and off. So it's just changing the floor height a little bit. Or if they don't feel comfortable, have them go 2 feet. While we do want this to be a little bit quicker, we're not gonna cue it that way, because we want them to focus on quality of the movement. So instead of them going fast, right, if they need to, come here, hop on, hop off, reset. As they gain more confidence, as they gain more strength, as they become more comfortable with the movement, we can individually tell people, okay, maybe you try and take less rest between humps, right? So while the goal of a pogo type motion is to be sort of quick and rebounding, we want this to be very much about the quality and the control before we even mention anything about speed or quickness, okay? The last superset is gonna be a left side plank and a right side plank. You can split this up as you would like. I want a minimum of 8 breaths per side, or you can challenge people to hold the plank until that halfway point, and then they can switch, which would be closer to a 45-second hold, 45-second hold. If somebody's trying to go for 30, maybe give them a countdown during that superset so they know how to time it correctly so that they're even on the left and right side. Making sure that you're giving them the options of knees versus straight leg, or elbow versus straight arm. So we have knees and elbow, making sure the hips are squeezed forward so we're in a nice straight line if we're looking from shoulder, hip, knee. Ankles are back behind. You can go straight leg. And then either of those options, you can add the straight arm. So again, making sure they're not sinking down towards the ground, so we're a straight line here, and a straight line if you were to look over top with any of these options. For the 20-minute community builder, we're gonna have sort of 2 blocks here. So in the first half of this, you're gonna separate your group into 3 groups, and they're gonna go to one of 3 stations. So the first station is gonna be a snatch up, teach you get down The second station is going to be an alternating step up. The third station is going to be a high plank med ball roll with 90-degree hurdle hops. So what's going to happen is they're going to go to their first station. They're going to do a little mini ANRAP just at that station. So they're going to keep circling through those movements for 3 minutes straight through. They're then going to rotate, go to the second station. They're going to be at that station for 3 minutes. Rotate, third station for 3 minutes. First half of the community builder is done. Then we all come back together for the second half, which will be the swing pyramid. So for our first station of the 3-minute mini AMRAPs, we're doing a snatch up into a TGU get down, okay? So they're gonna get their kettlebell. We're going to snatch. If they don't feel comfortable snatching, they can clean and press. We then know that if this is the bell side, that free hand lets you know that this is the leg that steps back. We open all the way up, come into our half-kneeling windmill, sweep through, control to the elbow, take it all the way back down, lower down, both hands go to that fetal position, and then they're going to stand tall. Repeat on the other side. So again, if they don't feel comfortable with a snatch, you can have them clean and press the bell, and then again, this is the leg that would go down into that TGU, get down nicely open, finding that hand out from the leg, loading the arms or coming over top, nice strong sweep, control to the elbow, feather that bell to the ground, lower down. So the biggest thing in that TGU get down that I'm seeing in class is if this is my open, a lot of times people are coming back behind in that half kneeling windmill. What you want to do is have them find the front of their thigh, slightly inward on the inner front thigh, take it out to the ground, and then load into the hand, right? So now my shoulder is stacked over top of my hand, right? So if you're looking at me this way, I'm not hanging back on my hips. I'm loading the hand so that I then can take the leg off to find that swoop. So make sure you're paying attention to that with that TGU get down. For the second station for the 3-minute mini AMRAP, we have alternating step-ups. So they are going to be doing step-ups for 3 minutes, resting as they need to make sure that they are prioritizing form. I'm demoing this in a small box because I was being lazy at taking out a big box, but ideally we're going to find something that is slightly challenging, but not so challenging that they can't maintain form for 3 minutes, okay? So whatever box height they feel comfortable with, they're gonna step up, knee drive, take it back down, step up, knee drive, take it back down, okay? So if they're going unweighted, they can use their arms to drive into that motion to make it more fluid. If they do want to add weight, ideally the weight would be opposite of that step up leg, which then means they would have to switch, step up on the other side if they're trying to load the step up section. Our third station for the 3-minute AMRAP is going to be a high plank med ball roll, or you can use the dumbbell. I know the dumbbells aren't perfectly round, but the members will just have to get over it. We do what we can. The other exercise, because this is going to be two-parter at this station, is going to be hurdle hops, okay? So we're going to find our high plank. This is a large med ball. You can use the smaller ones or like the rubbery ones that they have at East Market. You can use that as well. If you don't have a medicine ball at your location, because I know you don't all have them, you can use a dumbbell, okay? So you're going to find your plank. You're essentially setting up in like a single arm plank, and you're going to roll this forward, bring it back. Roll it forward, bring it back, 8 times, switch, 8 times on the other side. So you can change the range, right? If I'm keeping my hand right on top, it's a shorter range of motion, or I can take it to my fingertips and push it out and pull it back. So you can adjust the range for people if they are having a harder time. We then have the dumbbell. So again, it's not perfectly round, but you can get it to roll. It will roll, okay? If people are struggling with this and don't want to do the roll, or they don't have the stability or the strength to do that, you can change this to being a plank shoulder tap. Prefer that we elevate the hands on a surface before offering to drop the knees as a modification, because we want to teach them how to use their glutes to maintain a strong, stable plank. 90-degree hurdle hops. So they're going to start facing one direction, and they are going to turn 90 degrees as they hop. It's a very weird jump, I'm very sorry. It's like, don't jump like that. I don't have the energy to refilm this or cut and edit this piece out, so just ignore it. Maybe I will cut it and edit it out. Who knows? Comedic relief. Starting facing one direction as you jump, turning 90 degrees. We're here. We're landing softly. We're ignoring the first jump that Jess did. We're doing the second jump. Jess is not a jumper. If you have people in your class that are like me, help them. You can have them do a step, hop, turn the 90 degree, step, hop, turn the 90 degree, or you can hop. You can also take the hurdle completely out of it and just tell them, hey, we want you to turn 90 degrees each time that you hop. Thank you guys for supporting me as I demo jumps when I'm not a jumpy person. You guys are getting a real unique side of me. It's been a week. We're all doing great. The final section here, you're gonna do as a whole group. Everybody should have a light bell, a medium or moderate bell, and a heavy bell, okay? We may have to get friendly with neighbors if our moderate bell is their light bell so that we can share. It's okay to share. It's okay to share. What's gonna happen here is we are working on the 45 seconds. So that first 45 seconds, they're gonna do 8 swings with their light bell. Whatever time they have left is rest. The next 45 seconds, they're gonna move to their moderate or middle-sized bell. They're gonna do 5 swings on the 45 seconds. Whatever time they have left is rest. On that third 45 seconds, they are moving to the heavier bell, and they are doing 3 swings. If they feel like they can do substantially more than 3 swings with that bell, bell's probably not heavy enough, right? I don't want them struggling through 3s, so don't let people go heavier than they should go, but make sure that it looks appropriate, and then they are resting for the remainder of that 45 seconds. We're going to go back to the top, and we have 9 minutes total, so that's about 4 or 5 rounds, okay? So just as a refresher for the swing practice, they're gonna take their bell, they go 2 feet back, finding that nice strong hinge. My arms are coming forward, I'm wrapping my fingers around, and my bell should be angled because this is gonna give us a straight line from the floor all the way to the shoulder. We break that handle in half, the bell might drag towards you just a little bit. Nice strong hike, stand tall. Let that bell come back in that upper triangle. So if this is my light bell, I'm gonna be going for 8 swings. Making sure that in that backswing, I'm not dropping way down here, right? We want that bell in the backswing tracking above the knees, okay? And that is the end of Day C momentum. Wow, this is a little unhinged of a video for me. Hope you guys got a chuckle and, learn some things about kettlebells. Have a great day.